What was it like on the set of Little House on the Prairie? The actress who played Michael Landon's wife says it wasn't as wholesome as it seemed.
Guess what me and Andrew found?
Where have you been, young lady? You're late.
Huh?
I asked you where you've been.
Well, I was trying to tell you, me and Andrew.
Fact is, you're late.
For many people, the television series Little House on the Prairie represents one of the most wholesome and heartwarming shows ever made. It told the story of a hard-working pioneer family living in the small town of Walnut Grove during the late 1800s. Every week, audiences watched the Ingalls family face challenges, learn life lessons, and overcome hardships together. The show felt warm, emotional, and comforting. Parents trusted it, children loved it, and millions of families gathered around their televisions to watch it every week. The father, Charles Ingalls, was the symbol of strength and kindness. The mother, Caroline Ingalls, represented patience and compassion. And the children, Mary, Laura, and Carrie, showed the joys and struggles of growing up in a difficult world. But while the show portrayed a peaceful and moral vision of pioneer life, the reality behind the scenes was sometimes very different. Behind the camera, the cast and crew experienced friendships, rivalries, pranks, embarrassing moments, personal struggles, and surprising secrets that viewers never saw. Some actors became lifelong friends. Others couldn't stand each other. There were jokes that went too far, awkward filming situations, and even scandals that shocked fans years later. Today we're going to explore the hidden stories behind one of television's most beloved shows. Some of these facts are funny. Some are shocking. And some may completely change the way you see the show forever. The famous rivalry that was actually friendship. One of the most memorable rivalries in the entire series was between Laura Ingalls and Nellie Oleson. Laura was strong-willed, brave, and determined to stand up for what was right. Nellie, on the other hand, was spoiled, manipulative, and constantly causing trouble. Their arguments, fights, and competitions became some of the most entertaining moments in the series. Laura was played by Melissa Gilbert, while Nellie was played by Alison Arngrim. On television, their characters seemed to hate each other. But off-camera, the truth was completely different. Melissa Gilbert and Alison Arngrim were actually extremely close friends during the filming of the show. They spent time together between scenes, joked around on set, and often visited each other's homes. In fact, their friendship was so strong that they sometimes found it difficult to act angry during their fight scenes. The two actresses have later said that they would sometimes start laughing right after a scene where their characters were supposed to be furious with each other. For fans who believed the rivalry was real, this revelation came as a big surprise. The prank that embarrassed Melissa Gilbert. During the later seasons of the show, Nellie's character married a man named Percival Dalton. Percival was played by actor Steve Tracy. On screen, Nellie and Percival shared a romantic relationship. But in real life, Steve Tracy was openly gay. Despite this, he and Alison Arngrim developed a playful habit of teasing Melissa Gilbert. At the time, Melissa was still a teenager and quite shy about romantic scenes. Knowing this, Alison and Steve would sometimes exaggerate their affectionate scenes, dramatically kissing in front of her just to see her reaction. Melissa later admitted that she found these moments extremely embarrassing. Although the prank was meant as harmless fun, it sometimes made the young actress uncomfortable. Still, the cast often described the atmosphere on set as playful and full of laughter. The drinking culture on set. Another surprising truth about the show involved alcohol. According to Melissa Gilbert's memoir and other accounts from cast members, drinking was surprisingly common during filming. Crew members reportedly went through multiple cases of beer almost every day. 2 cases of beer were considered normal. When production was especially stressful, the crew jokingly referred to it as a 3-case day. One of the most surprising revelations involved the show's star and producer, Michael Landon. Landon played Charles Ingalls, the loving father of the Ingalls family. But he also had enormous influence behind the scenes as a writer, director, and producer. According to several reports, Landon sometimes started his day with coffee mixed with alcohol. Throughout the day, he continued drinking while working on scripts, directing scenes, and interacting with the cast. Many people on set didn't realize the extent of his drinking because he managed to maintain control and keep the production running smoothly. Still, it was a hidden reality behind a show that promoted wholesome family values. The truth about Michael Landon's background. Another fact that surprised many fans involves Michael Landon's personal background. His real name was not Michael Landon. He was born Eugene Maurice Orowitz. He grew up in a family with mixed religious influences. His father was Jewish while his mother was Catholic. Although his character on the show often seemed deeply connected to Christian values, Landon himself did not strongly identify with a particular religion. He once explained that his Jewish heritage was something he respected culturally, but he preferred to think of himself simply as someone who believed in God. For many viewers who saw him as the perfect Christian father figure, this revelation was unexpected. The feud between two sisters. On the show, Laura and Mary Ingalls were loving sisters who supported each other through difficult times. Mary was played by Melissa Sue Anderson. But behind the scenes, things were not always so friendly. Melissa Gilbert and Melissa Sue Anderson reportedly had a strained relationship during the filming of the show. According to Gilbert, Anderson often kept to herself and did not socialize much with the rest of the cast. Over time, this created tension between the two actresses. Although they remained professional while filming, their relationship never became close. Even years after the show ended, the two actresses rarely appeared together in interviews or reunions. The exact reason for their feud has never been fully explained. The awkward first kiss. One of the most memorable storylines in the later seasons involved Laura growing up and eventually marrying Almanzo Wilder. Almanzo was played by Dean Butler. During the filming of one romantic scene, Melissa Gilbert was only 15 years old. Dean Butler, however, was 23. This made the scene extremely uncomfortable for the young actress. To make matters even more awkward, it was also her first real kiss. Melissa later admitted that she felt nervous and embarrassed filming the scene. After she expressed her discomfort, Michael Landon stepped in and spoke with the producers. The scene was eventually changed so that the kiss would be less intense and more appropriate. The real Walnut Grove. Many fans believed Walnut Grove was a fictional town created for the show. But it actually exists. Walnut Grove is a real town located in Redwood County, Minnesota. The town became famous because it was one of the places where author Laura Ingalls Wilder spent part of her childhood. Her experiences growing up in the American Midwest inspired the book series that later became the television show. Today, Walnut Grove attracts visitors from around the world who want to see the place that inspired the beloved story. Strange mistakes fans still notice. Even though the show was carefully produced, fans have discovered several strange mistakes over the years. For example, in one storyline, Laura announces her pregnancy during a warm season. But somehow more than a year appears to pass while she is still pregnant. Another unusual moment appears in a later episode featuring Colonel Sanders. The founder of Kentucky Fried Chicken appears as a character selling fried chicken. The problem is that Colonel Sanders was born in 1890, while the show takes place in the 1870s and 1880s. This means the timeline doesn't make sense. Yet the scene remained in the episode and became a funny historical mistake that fans still talk about today. The tragic loss that shocked fans. Years after the show ended, tragedy struck. In 1991, Michael Landon was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. The illness progressed quickly. Just a few months later, he passed away at the age of 54. For many cast members, his death was heartbreaking. Melissa Gilbert, in particular, had once viewed him as a father figure during her childhood on the show. Although their relationship had gone through ups and downs over the years, they were able to reconnect before his passing. To honor him, Gilbert later named one of her sons Michael, a legacy that still lives on. Despite the behind-the-scenes drama, the show remains one of television's most beloved classics. Little House on the Prairie originally aired from 1974 to 1982, running for 9 successful seasons. Even decades later, the series continues to air in reruns around the world. New generations of viewers continue discovering the story of the Ingalls family. The show's themes of courage, kindness, and family have helped it remain timeless. And while the hidden stories behind the scenes may surprise fans, they also remind us that the people who created the show were human. They experienced friendships, struggles, laughter, and heartbreak, just like everyone else. And perhaps that's part of what makes the story of the show even more fascinating today.